Welcome back everybody to more from the Sableyes. I'm Mitch. Today I'm playing Blacephalon and I'm playing against Jordan, playing Gardevoir Ninetales. Welcome Jordan.
Thank you.
And it's going to be exciting to see how this matchup goes. Gardevoir Ninetales is an interesting concept that we've had a couple of requests for, so we'll see whether it works out in practice. Heads or tails, mate?
Tails, please.
No worries. Heads, so I'll be going first.
I'm not feeling too confident this one, I'm going to be honest.
On paper, Blacephalon should win. But, as we know, the game isn't played with paper, it's played with cardboard, so anything could happen.
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. Also, just at the start of the video, if you like the content, like, subscribe, ring the old notification bell, and please don't mind Jordan's light on his side of the field, because it's gonna fluctuate wildly. Alrighty.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. What's that you got there? That's a Xerneas.
As you can't say, that is my Xerneas Prism.
No worries.
It should get better in a second.
That's okay. We are going to Mystery Treasure, getting rid of a Fire Energy. We'll have a look through here. I've made a couple of changes to my list since last playing, with the idea being that I want it to be slightly more consistent when it comes to drawing cards, rather than consistent when it comes to playing cards, if that makes sense. We're going to grab a Tapu Lele. So I've put in Blitzle and some other interesting cards, and we'll see how they go. It'll be interesting to see whether they come up.
I did notice in the last game you played on the channel that you were able to find search cards, like you're able to get Lele and Marshadow out, but then you struggled when it came to having those two out already. You couldn't search for anything else to draw cards.
Yeah, and that's pretty much where I'm at. I've just put a little, because of the awkward time that we're filming, I'll just put a little dice down there so you can see my cards in the prizes.
Much appreciated.
Otherwise, you won't be able to see what's on the field. We're going to Ultra Ball. And we are going to grab the Ditto Prism from that Ultra Ball.
Ditto also acts pretty well as just a 5th Poipole, I guess.
Well, one of the things with my list at the moment, I've actually cut a Poipole. So the Ditto is the 4th Poipole, but it's also a 2nd Blitzle. So
that makes a lot of sense, actually.
It gives a lot of flexibility for me to be able to do stuff. Acro Bike.
I like that idea quite a lot.
We are going to ditch the Ultra Ball, and then we're going to Lillie for 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, you wouldn't believe it, but I didn't actually get an energy, which is exceptionally frustrating. But I did get an Ultra Space, so I'll Ultra Space, grabbing myself a Blacephalon. And wouldn't you know it, the second that I turn my light off, clouds roll overhead, and now you can't see anything on my side of the field at all. So light back on.
It's not too bad.
Light back
but
on.
That seems better.
That's a lot better. So it's going to be an awkward one, because we're filming at kind of almost dusky time, so it's a little bit awkward for us. At this stage, I reckon that's pretty much all I want to do. I can't attach, so it's your turn.
Alright, draw for turn. Now, the good thing about this deck is that every Pokemon in the deck has one retreat, except for Xerneas. So in any other situation, this would be a really good hand. But I'm going to Elm.
Yep.
And we'll grab... Well, it's not great, but we'll grab 1 Vulpix and 2 Ralts.
No worries. What does that Xerneas do, Jordan, for those who've never seen it before?
So its ability is, once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from your bench to become the active, so if you Guzma or retreat or something like that, you can move as many energy as you like to it from the bench, just like Tapu Koko, except it doesn't bring itself active. You actually have to do that manually.
Yep.
And the attack for 3 Fairy Energy does 160 damage.
Okay, well the choice being 190 is not bad.
It's basically a knuckle impact on a non-EX.
Yeah, fair
is
enough.
how I look at it. So quite a strong attack.
Yeah, and it powers itself up, providing you've got the right conditions.
Yes. Unfortunately, that ability is quite useless when it starts in the active, so, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to attach to a Ralts.
Yep.
And then pass it on to you.
No worries, we'll draw for turn. And there's that fire, which is fantastic. Got that sweet, sweet fire energy. Attach that one to Blacephalon. I'm going to evolve the Ditto into Zebstrika. Going to evolve the Naganadel. And I'm going to Ultra Space.
This seems like a fine start.
Yeah, this is looking alright. I'm not upset by this at all, by any stretch.
Do you have any Fire Energy in discard yet?
I do, I have 2.
That's quite convenient.
Yeah, it is. Because that's the amount of Naganadel I have, Jordan.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy with that. And I also get to Cynthia away 2 Beast Ring. So they're not sitting in my hand, I can have them for later.
Doesn't look like you'll be needing them anytime soon, looking at the board states.
Oh, well, you never know. You never know. With the Blacephalon only having 180 HP, it means that Gardevoir needs to do less to kill one. But, you know, you've got to get a Gardevoir out into the active first, don't you?
Yeah. And, of course, you can choose how hard it is for me to knock it out, depending on what you do with Mind Blown. So it'll be interesting. I think it's very unique how these 2 decks interact.
Then we're going to charge up once, and then obviously we'll burn this one to retreat into Blacephalon. And then I'm relatively content to, I think, just use the old Burst GX and see whether I hit a Fire Energy. Oh, it's a beast! Yuck.
Even better.
Yuck.
You do still get to attach it.
Oh, I do get to attach it. Oh!
Yeah.
Because it's an energy. Wow, that's busted.
Yep.
Oh, now the question is, do I think that you're going to be able to kill this turn? And I don't think so. Let's say you get the best turn you could possibly have. So
I think that's a safe bet.
So if you get the best turn you possibly have, you Ninetales to evolve into Gardevoir, attach a DCE, attach a Choice Band, attach an Escape Board, and then energy onto Xerneas. I think that's too much for you. I don't think you're going to do it. So we'll put it on the active.
I'm with you on this one. My turn's a lot less interesting than what you predicted. I think it's going to involve attaching an energy to a Ralt.
Look out.
And then it'll be back to your turn.
Oh wow, okay, so here I am, trying to think about the absolute optimum play.
Still not a bad idea.
Okay, well I'm going to Ultra Space, since you've not really asked me to do anything. And I might grab myself a backup attacker. Luckily I do have one left. Blacephalon. I think my list actually cut down to 3 Blacephalon as well.
Okay.
Because with the Rescue Stretcher and that kind of stuff, I don't really find myself worrying about the amount of Blacephalon that I have, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think that you need 4 at all. The only reason that 4 is good is it increases your chance of opening it.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm going to attach to the Blacephalon, and we're going to charge up once there. Then I'm going to remove my Ultra Space to play down a Heat Factory, because why not? We're going to Heat Factory for 3. Huh, look at that. We're going to charge up once. And then the question is, do I want to kill this Xerneas, or do I want to kill a Ralts, or do I want to kill a thingamajig? A little baby Vulpix. I reckon the Vulpix is the key, so I'm going to Guzma out your Vulpix.
Well, that's a little annoying.
I'll go into the Naganadel and pay 1 to retreat, and I'll use Blacephalon's Mind Blown, discarding 1 energy to the Lost Zone. With the Beast, that'll be enough.
That will do it. Alright. Well, I was going to Beacon this turn. But made it a little harder. I think I can still do it. But, I mean, I wonder if Beaconing is still not going to be good enough. I might just have to get lucky here, I would say. Is it even possible for me to get this knockout? I would need a DC. Yeah, something like that.
Oh no, just one. Just one. You just need one because you go DCE, Fairy Energy Choice Band would do it.
Not undoable. Well, I'm gonna want to tag with this Tapu Lele.
Yep.
And I gotta decide right now if I'm actually gonna go for it or not, and I think I should. Although the half hit here isn't terrible either.
No,
but it's probably not enough. Regardless, I'm going to get a Cynthia.
Sure thing.
And I did actually just realize it might be easier to get the knockout with the baby Gardevoir, so that might be something.
That could be an option. And if you can manage to get into the active with that Xerneas, then you could potentially take the knockout with that as well.
Yes. I agree. So I'll stretch it back my Vulpix.
Yep.
I will then just play Cynthia.
Sure. So
yeah,
even though we were saying there's not a lot to do, or there's not a lot of ways that you can get there, we've actually come up with multiple ways that you can quite easily take a knockout on this Blacephalon that would be quite awkward.
Yeah, it definitely seems quite doable, and doing it with a non-EX would be awesome as well.
Yeah, that would be
it's
optimal.
Definitely not going to be easy. I think I probably needed a stronger start to be able to make any of those plays. But we'll have a look. Yeah, I definitely think a stronger start was key here.
would have helped.
I would agree. Alright, so I'm going to retreat the Ralts.
Yep.
Into Vulpix.
Yep.
We do have an attachment, so we'll go ahead and attach to the Ralts again.
Sure.
And then simply use Beacon.
No worries. Well, I'll draw for turn. I am going to Heat Factory.
Yep.
2, 3. I'm going to attach to Blacephalon. We'll double charge up. And then we'll play one of the cards that I'm most excited about to play in this deck. That it's a risk, but boy oh boy, at $4.50 is it a nice card, or a nice full art, playing Hala.
Oh boy.
Yeah, now I don't have the full arts in, obviously, I'm testing, so I don't want to be crazy. But Hala actually becomes an exceptionally good card from this set. I think there's actually 2 cards that could be legitimately super good with Hala. Obviously, Blacephalon is one.
Yep.
Burst GX, I want to use that all the time. Solgaleo is another option. I hadn't actually even really considered that one. Although now that you've mentioned Solgaleo, I can't remember what the third was.
Sorry about that.
No, that's alright. So the other one was Zeraora. Obviously, we played Zeraora Rayquaza early in the week. And so coming out of this set, we've actually got quite a few decks that don't mind GXing early. And when you GX early, Shuffling 7 is better than Shuffling 6, and the best thing about Shuffling 7 is that you can play it with Cynthia, which is even better. So
yeah, I would definitely play more than 4 Cynthia if I could.
Oh yeah. So we'll get rid of that Lillie off the Acro Bike. And I'm really regretting having the Zebstrika because my hands have just been so full because you're not putting any pressure on me, so...
I'm sorry about that.
That's alright. It's okay, I understand. What were the 2 Pokemon that you got off of the beacon, by the way? I was too excited.
It was a Ralts and a Vulpix.
No worries. I was just too excited about the about the Hala play that was coming up. I'm just going to mind blown, discarding 1 off of the active.
Solid play. Alright, I'll promote a Ralts again. Draw for turn. So if you hadn't guessed from my beacon, I don't really have a crazy turn coming up.
No.
Going to, as predicted, bench a Ralts and a Vulpix.
Sure.
And I'm going to go big here, touching DC and Choice Band to the active.
Oh, we're hoping for the Gardevoir.
It's not a huge ask. I mean, it kind of is, but...
Well, you need Rare Candy Gardevoir, Fairy
Well, just that.
Off of...
with the non-EX Gardevoir. I just need...
Oh, yes. The baby Gardevoir. You just need the card.
Yeah, but I'll take a Gardevoir-GX as well, honestly. I'll take anything at this point.
Yeah, hey, anything's good, isn't it?
Yeah. We'll see how it goes, though. I'm not feeling too confident after this start. I think I'm probably a bit too far behind.
I think so as well, and especially since Gardevoir asks for a lot. Like, it really... You know how I was saying that Solgaleo Ninetales asks for a lot? Gardevoir asks for a lot too.
Well, I almost got it.
Yeah?
But I didn't.
Yep, just missing the one critical bit.
Yeah, it's a pretty important card. It's called Rare Candy. It really helps a lot right now.
Yeah, it's super important, I find, especially when you've got stage 2s.
Yeah, especially when one of them's fully loaded here.
Yeah, you've gone on the full gamble, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm not too sure what I've got going for me here. I mean, I have to sacrifice something, and I guess my best bet is just retreating into a fresh Ralts and passing.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, we're really showing off Gardevoir here. It's lucky that's not the feature deck.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to draw for turn. I'm going to attach a fire. Because why not? I don't actually have any fire in the bin. And I think...
Hard life for Blacephalon, isn't it?
It is. It's tough, you know? Like, we'll attach the Choice Band. We'll Ultra Ball, getting rid of Naganadel on a fire. We won't do anything because we don't really need to, and we'll just Cynthia.
Solid plan.
It's really like I put this Zebstrika in, and I haven't even used him once. It's really sad.
It's alright. You'll use it to draw 4 Beast Ring next turn, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be so harsh on myself, should I?
Like, by the time you need... The time that you're supposed to need Zebstrika, we haven't even gotten to that part of the game yet.
Oh boy. It's no good. It's no good. Alright, I'm gonna charge up once. And then we're just gonna do the exact same thing. We're just gonna Lost Zone 1.
I must say that Beast Energy's coming in pretty clutch this game.
Yeah, I tell you what, that Beast Energy means that I get to set up my entire board. I'm feeling pretty comfortable. Even if you get that GX Gardevoir out, I can kill it.
Alright, so I'm going to Ultra Ball, discarding Ultra Ball and Max Potion.
Sure.
And I'm finally having at least an okay turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up something.
I'm going to evolve to Alolan Ninetales-GX.
Yep.
And search for Rare Candy.
Sure.
And I get another card too, that's exciting. Guess I'll grab another Rare Candy.
Just in case, you never know.
Just in case. Seems like the only relevant card right now. Alright, so we'll go ahead and play one of those Rare Candies into my normal Gardevoir.
Yep, the baby, which is quite exciting. Do you want to let us all know what it does?
So, it does 70 damage plus 90 more damage if I played a supporter this turn for a Fairy and a double colors.
Or which you did, or which you will.
I mean,
I can't
in
remember.
theory I will.
I've been too busy smacking the crap out of you.
Yeah, I haven't yet, and it's actually more difficult than it needs to be able to do that. To be honest, I've got a Guzma which I can play, and that'll kill the benched Blacephalon, which is probably the best thing to do, but it involves removing my Fairy Energy off the board. But I think that's my best play. So I'm going to go ahead and Guzma the other Blacephalon.
Yep.
I'm going to retreat Ralts, and then Sensitive Ray for 190 is a knockout.
Sure. Alright, now you're going to need to bear with me here, Jordan. Because there's a series of things that I want to do. First of all, I'm going to play a Beast Ring, just to see how many fire I've got. Well, I've got 2, so we'll attach them there. Now just hold on, alright? Just hold on.
I'm excited. It sounds like it's going to be a good turn.
Just work with me here for a second. I'm going to attach one.
Yep.
I'm gonna Cynthia. Essentially, I'm just trying to decide how big I explode here to set myself up.
I was kind of surprised I didn't just see a Guzma from you straight away, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I could have, but I was too excited and I forgot that I had 2 prizes left. I was thinking about it the entire time, and I was just gonna Zebstrika to try and get into it, but. That's okay.
Yeah, because I mean, you have Zebstrika and Heat Factory as options.
That's okay.
But Cynthia seems alright.
Hey, listen. As long as I have another Guzma, as long as I have another powered Blacephalon, which, hey, that is.
Yep.
I don't really mind.
I think you'll be okay.
I think I should be fine. Now, how much HP does young little Gardevoir have?
He's a little low for a stage 2, actually. He's only 130.
Oh, that's no good.
He's not on Polion.
No. We're going to... I reckon we're just going to sprint this hand away.
Seems fair.
Just to give myself the cards next turn. And then, if I'm trying to do 130, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge up once. And we'll bin one from there. We'll bin one from there.
Makes sense.
And then with the Beast Energy, that gets to 130.
That Beast Energy is pretty good, not gonna lie.
Yep, and it was a free attachment that I didn't even realise I could do.
Well, I think I'm running very low on win conditions right now. I might already be out of those, in fact. But let's see what I can come up with.
See what you can conjure.
So at this point, I'm under the impression that as soon as you declare an attack, the game is over.
Yes.
So I'm going to see how if I can bring that Zebstrika up. So I'm going to Ultra Ball away. We'll go these two.
Because yeah, at this stage, your win con is deck out and hope that I have a Guzma prized and 2 Guzma in the bin.
Yeah.
At the moment, I got one Guzma in the bin, and I'll tell you for a fact I play 3.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work, but it's the only way I see myself at least surviving a turn. So we're going to want to tag for the Zebstrika 2 retreat or 1?
Zebstrika's 1.
Well, he's coming off anyway.
Yep, fair enough.
Seems like the best option.
It's actually quite funny because you don't know, but I'm actually out of energy in deck. So
well, I might have a turn or 2 then.
So it's stuck there.
I think I'm going to pass on to you.
I'll go the Guzma.
Seems good.
Yep, no worries. There you go. That really blew up there. And I didn't use Heat Factory half as much as I could have. I didn't use Zebstrika half as much as I could have either.
No need to. Just win the game. You don't need to ultra win. You just need to win.
Yeah, you just need to win. You don't need to take 20 prizes. There's only 6.
I mean, you probably could have, but
oh yeah,
that's besides the point.
I was happy to keep going.
But I think it was really that Xerneas opening which really screwed me over.
Yeah, you struggled real hard because of that one-off, and you're right. It's the only card in that Gardevoir list that has any more than 1.
Yeah.
So if you had have managed to get that out with the escape boards, which I presume you have in deck and in hand, then there's not a lot really you can do about it. It's stuck there.
Yeah, I mean, with that hand, I definitely needed to get off a beacon turn 1, I think.
Yeah.
To stay in the game.
Get into the Lele and stuff.
That's the sort of thing that, in theory, will only happen once in the best of 3. So let's hope that is the case.
So I look forward to you starting this game, Xerneas as well.
With Xerneas?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll go first, obviously.
No worries.
Let's have a look.
Well, on the plus side, you get an extra card because I've mulliganed.
I'm not going to complain about that. Now, 1 extra card.
Having a listen to those sweet, sweet Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee tunes. Oh boy, that soundtrack came out. We've been listening to it all week, Jordan. It's
pretty good, is it?
It sounds exactly like Pokemon Red and Blue, but new. Oh.
Well, that can't be a bad thing.
It can't be. Because we're all nostalgia whores here at the Sable Eyes. And despite the fact that our cover Pokemon is from Gen 2, or even... when is it? Gen 2? 3? When's Sable Eye from? I got no idea.
3.
I forget about Pokemon before the after the first generation. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7...
I don't know, Gen 3 seems nostalgic to me.
Oh, fair enough. Well, you grew up playing it though, didn't you? Like, you grew up
something like that
with Gen 3. I'm an old man. I grew up playing with Red and Blue.
Alright, I got a Lele start. Not the worst thing in the world.
No, it's not. It is not a Xerneas.
Draw for turn. I mean, it is kind of annoying though, because I now have to play down a Lele to Wonder Tag, so my field isn't the best, but I think it's going to work.
But it's better than having nothing in it.
Yeah, so surprise, surprise, I'm gonna grab an Elm.
Yep.
It seems like a good call right now.
It's pretty solid play. Pretty solid.
And I'm gonna go with my strategy last game of grabbing 2 Ralts and a Vulpix again.
That sounds fine to me.
I think it'll do. Alright, and after that, what else have I got here? I'll settle for an attachment to the active.
Sure.
And on to you.
No worries. Draw for turn. Oh, we're going to play down a Poipole. We are going to attach to Poipole in the active, and then we're going to Lillie for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's insane. Just throwing it out there. There's 2 Blacephalon. That sounds fine.
Insane in a good way?
That's good. That's good. Because I was like, what am I going to do? And then I found out what I was going to do. Now the question here, Jordan, is... do I potentially risk having a bit of a brick turn to get you stuck? Because you're a terrible stage 2 deck.
I am.
And I reckon it might be worth giving you a bit of a Marshadow.
Oh yeah,
Although,
I can see that.
Maybe it's better to just very quickly bin a couple of things. To grab myself a little Dit Boy, if he's in here. And then Marshadow, because then I give myself more outs to the Zebstrika.
I like that play a lot.
So, we'll do that. And then we'll slam that Marshadow down and let loose.
Going for the let loose. Alright. I think that that's a pretty ideal board, to be honest. 2 Poipoles, a Ditto, 2 Blacephalons.
Yep. The only thing that could be better is if that Marshadow was something else, but that's okay.
I think it's better than it being a Lele, so...
That's true. And that's the best thing, I think that's one of the best things about this deck, is that you really only need 4 Pokemon for it to work. So in reality, you've probably got 2 bench spots free. Maybe
at least one.
At least one, if that Lele hasn't come down too. You know, that you can play with. So that Marshadow is kind of free. Alright, then, bearing in mind that I have no other options here, I think I'm going to Eye Opener. Now, I'm not allowed to change any of that stuff around, am I?
Yep.
Just that one, and then that one. Okay.
I have a feeling that Marshadow of yours was secretly working for me, to be honest.
Have I just blown you up?
Well, I've got just a Rare Candy and a Gardevoir in hand.
Oh, cool.
And I've also got a Ninetales-GX.
Cool.
Which I'm going to use right now.
Sure.
And I've also got a Draw Supporter. So like, those are 4 really good cards.
I just drew you into the nuts.
I'm certainly not complaining.
And meanwhile, Brick City.
Oh boy.
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna get a Burst GX off 100%.
Well, that's not a bad thing. Alright. I'm going to be taking... I think these 2 are the safest play.
Sure.
Energy Retrieval Choice Band. And I'm going to put Choice Band onto the Gardevoir.
Yep.
Yep. Retreat the Fairy and play Energy Retrieval to get it back.
Yep.
Nope, that doesn't go there.
No, that goes on the bench.
Then I'll Secret Spring to the active.
Yep.
And play the Cynthia.
Sure thing. That seems fine. Seems fine. Although the best bit about having 70 HP is you still need another energy for the knockout.
Well, I mean, my game plan is to get another energy, but we'll see how it goes.
We'll see. There's no guarantees in life, Jordan.
No, there's not.
You can never be sure. But that's okay.
So, in theory, I kill this Poipole with Gardevoir. You aren't able to respond, and this Gardevoir just goes to town on your Blacephalon. But we'll see how it goes. I'm not super confident in my ability to draw an energy. But hopefully my deck is kind to me like your Marshadow was. Oh, I speak too soon.
Yay!
Alright. I guess I'm gonna have to go for a plan B. I will bench... actually, that's kind of average. I think I will do it. I'll bench Vulpix.
Yep.
Took the safe play. Didn't pay off. What's the backup play? Let's see. I think I'm just going to have to go for an Infinite Force for 60.
No worries. Draw for turn.
That's alright. I didn't need that knockout. It's fine.
It's fine. It's not relevant. I'm going to attach to Blacephalon on the bench. I'm going to evolve one of these Poipoles into Naganadel. And I feel like it should be the active, but I don't actually think it matters.
I don't think it particularly matters, no.
So, I'll make it the active. We'll pay to retreat. And then we'll do the old thingamajig. Although, actually, to be fair, I probably should have done it on this one. Just because...
I guess.
That way, it means that if it's, you know... I feel nicer. I feel safer.
I like that more as well. Yeah. Not that it really matters.
No, but hey. And then I will burst GX, and I'll flip that over, knowing full well that there's a Beast Energy just there that I'll attach to
That sounds familiar.
I've done this before.
It's not like that Beast Energy wasn't there last game either.
Yeah, it was in the exact same spot. I was freaking out when I saw it. I was like, unbelievable.
Alright, so... my Stage 2 deck is doing Stage 2 things again.
Yep.
Which is a little concerning.
And I got past the Oakwood first turn.
Yep.
So I'm feeling pretty good.
I have a very funny hand actually. It's a 6-card hand, but I've only it's 2 of 3 different cards, 2, 2, and 2, and
yep.
None of them are very good right now. So I'm just gonna do 90 damage.
Oh, yuck. Do you know what the worst bit about that is though, Jordan?
What's that?
Is that all the plays that I'd considered relied on you taking that knockout.
Well, I'm sorry I'm not good enough to counteract your plays.
Well, you know what, Jordan? You're okay, mate. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed.
I mean, if you'd put the beast on the active, it would have made it so much easier for me to kill you anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Not that I had it, but like, in theory.
But yeah, that's the reason I didn't put it there. I was presuming you were going to kill it anyway, right? So I could return this turn, but... alas, was not to be. I guess the question now becomes, do I Bursting Burn to burn you and confuse you, and attach to the bench, knowing full well that will incentivize you to do different things, or do I just half hit you and hope for the best?
Both seem fine. I might actually have to go get a burn counter. I'll be back in just a second.
No worries. So whilst Jordan's grabbing that burn counter that he wasn't prepared for, I've just got to quickly decide, because if I burn and confuse, then it makes it harder for him to knock out the active. Knocking out the active at the moment, though, isn't necessarily that hard to do. And my fear is if I do that and attach to the Blacephalon on the bench, that he's just going to retreat. He's going to Guzma and retreat and kill the Blacephalon on the bench, which will put me in an awkward position. But, knowing what I have in hand, I probably still do it. So, I think I'm just going to attach there. And presuming that Jordan is back from his burn.
I am indeed. I found a poison counter, so that's going to have to do.
That's going to be fine. Will Bursting Burn.
He's doing it.
You are burned and confused, sir.
Alright, I'm burned and confused, and I take 20 damage.
20 damage? Roll the dice.
Alright, there's 20, and let's have a look. Heads. I'm cured of burn.
Beautiful.
Alright. Draw for turn. So, that's a little annoying. Means that another coin flip might be necessary in the near future, which I don't like. But I think I might be willing to take that gamble. Unless I can come up with a different play. Let's, I'm gonna Secret Spring to the Ninetales.
Yep.
And I still don't have too many options with this hand of mine. And flipping a coin and taking 2 prizes doesn't sound like a bad idea to me.
It's not necessarily the worst gamble in the world, is it?
No. I mean, it's bad if it doesn't work out, it's real bad. But I don't think I have a better option, realistically. And it doesn't seem like a bad option. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with Infinite Force for maybe 90. And that's a tail, so I'll take 30 damage.
Alright, well I think I'm still actually in the same bind that
Oh,
I
boy.
was before. Because I still have to do 200 damage to kill this thing.
Yep. It's gotten slightly easier.
I think I just do it. I think I just attach, knowing full well that there's nothing else that I can do with my hands. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Which sucks.
200, taking out my Guardi.
200 is about the best I can do. Now I have to take that one, because I know what that one was. And I only bothered...
in theory, you know what all of them are.
Well, I only bothered to remember the 2 most important ones, and now I'm... I guess I'll just take this one. That seems fine, whatever.
Alright. That's a little annoying. It's not terrible, but it puts me in an awkward spot to still get the knockout.
I guess the best thing that you've got going for you at the moment is you've got the Vulpix on the bench still, so you've got access to another Gardevoir if you need it.
Yes.
And worst comes to worst, you can still take the knockout with the... you can actually take 3 prizes this turn with Ninetales. Ninetales with a choice band takes 3 prizes this turn.
Oh yes, you're correct. You're correct. I forgot about the 60 on the bench. So maybe we should have evolved that one after.
Maybe the Naganadel was the key. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. So I think I'm going to promote the Ralts.
Yep.
And draw for turn.
Sure.
That's not a bad card to draw. All right. So I'm going to Ultra Ball, discarding double Max Potion. Because I don't think that's a super important card in this matchup.
You don't reckon it's going to come up?
Probably not. And now I'm revealing some of the terribly average cards I was holding in my hand.
Yep, double Max Potion seems pretty bad.
And I'm going to grab a Gardevoir-GX.
Yep, because you're holding double Rare Candy as well.
I am also holding double Rare Candy, as well as double Ultra Ball.
So I guess that's positive.
It's okay for this turn now that you've killed a Gardevoir. I do have another Ultra Ball and another Rare Candy, but luckily my top deck was a Cynthia.
Oh, mate.
So that makes this hand a lot better.
Yes, for sure.
So once again, I'm kind of hoping to get this knockout, but it's a lot harder for me this time.
Yeah, and you'd need to commit quite a lot to get it.
Yeah. I'm not too worried about that because at the current board, I feel like it's probably one of the best times to do so. I mean, I go down to Beast Ring turn, but you've been drawing averagely the last few turns.
Yeah.
So I need to basically try and take these prizes as quickly as possible before you get Beast Rings.
And that's pretty reasonable.
And of course, I've got the Ninetales-GX attack to save for later, which will also be very useful, I think, if I can preserve that.
A couple of prizes down the line.
Well, let's have a look how this Cynthia pays off. The last couple have not been very pleasing, and this one seems to be following that trend. Alright, so here's my play. Okay. I'm going to attach double colors.
Yep.
And retreat.
Right.
Into Vulpix. And I'm going to use Beacon.
No worries. Well, I'm going to draw for turn. I'm going to evolve Ditto into Zebstrika. And because you continually refuse to kill my active, I'm going to get rid of the Tapu Lele that I've been holding for a long time.
Beautiful.
Just because you just won't kill it. Just kill the thing.
I'm trying. Trust me, I'm trying.
I'll grab a Naganadel. And then, after attaching to the active, I will Cynthia.
Seems good.
Alrighty. The worst thing about this turn for me is that I don't take a knockout.
I'm okay with that.
Like, I cannot foresee a way that I could currently take a knockout. Unless, of course, I'm playing the secret energy switch, which would be... Oh, that would be something else. But... Whoop! Oh, no! He's on the floor. I'll have to grab him. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Okay, so let's have a think about what I can do here as I put Ditto and Zebstrika back onto the bench.
Solid.
I am going to play down Ultra Space, which I am going to use in just a second. I'm just going to check and see how much fire I've got in the bin. I'm going to use Ultra Space, grab myself a Poipole, and I am going to... Oh, I think I'm going to Ultra Ball away 2 Fire Energy to grab myself... Let's see, what could I grab myself? I don't really want to grab myself anything at this stage, I don't think. Because I can always Ultra Space for another Blacephalon next turn.
Yeah, it's nothing you really need.
Ultimately, that Ultra Ball is just to put the energy on the Naganadels. Which is what I'm going to do.
That's a solid use for an Ultra Ball.
Yep, just to...
Attach 2 energy cards.
Yep, that seems pretty good. If that was written on an item, you'd take it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And then, with the single fire on the active, I will Bursting Burn.
Alright, that is just as annoying as it was last time.
Yep, so you take your 20 and roll your dice.
Let's have a look. Heads.
Yep, no worries. Well, at least you're having good luck with that.
Well, I flipped heads on the unimportant rolls. On the confusion one, that's where I was kind of whiffing a bit.
Yeah, no.
And that attack is actually so much more relevant than you realize, to be honest. Alright, I'm gonna bench the Ralts.
Well, the thing
I mean, I had a play. I'm not even sure if it's worth going for anymore. But I don't. Once again, I'm left in a position where I don't really have a lot of options. So I'm going to take the play which has a chance of doing well.
Alright, no worries.
So attach double colours to Vulpix.
Yep.
And I'm going to Cynthia.
No worries. So you're, of course, going for the Ninetales here. So if you can manage to Secret Spring onto the Ninetales and set up another Gardevoir. But because of that burn damage, the Blacephalon on the bench comes in and only has to burn off 3 energy to kill it.
This is going to sound surprising, but that's actually not what I'm thinking about going for.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Instead of going for a Ninetales, I'm actually considering the idea of going for a Choice Band.
Right.
Do you know what Icy Snow does?
Well, Icy Snow does 20, but it's water type, so that's
so
40.
that's a total of 100 damage with the weakness.
Yes, it is, and that's enough.
And that's enough to kill your Blacephalon.
Who would have realised that?
However, that's still involved drawing a Choice Band, and this deck isn't very good at drawing the cards it needs, it seems. So
well, no,
that plays also out the window.
You're supposed to use the Ninetales to get the cards you want, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a thing I could do right now if I wanted to.
Well, have you got the Fairy Energy? You could always go for the...
Yeah, I think that's going to have to be what I do now. So I am going to Ultra Ball, discarding a Vulpix, and a Kirlia.
No worries.
Making me do the boring play.
Making you do the boring play that costs you the game, probably.
Making me do the Mitch play instead of the Jordan play.
Hey, whoa, none of that. Although, to be fair, that would have been pretty sweet if you'd managed to take the knockout with Vulpix.
It was still a flip though, so this is probably the safer way to go anyway.
Well, this guarantees the knockout, doesn't it?
So I will go ahead and use the ability there.
Yep.
There's a few good cards I could grab right now. I think I'm going to be grabbing a Choice Band. That seems
relevant.
like the way to go. And the other one is much more questionable. I think the other one would have to be...
Well, I guess it could be energy retrieval to guarantee the energy if you don't have it in hand.
I think I'm just going to take a Rare Candy.
Rare Candy seems fine as well, considering you've got the Ralts on the bench.
Well, I did only just put it on the bench, but I'm thinking ahead.
Fair enough.
Alright. So I'm going to Secret Spring to the active.
Yep. Attach
the Choice Band.
Yep.
And go ahead and use Fairy Wind for the knockout.
Yep. And then you get
and
30
the
something.
30 will go onto the other Blacephalon GX.
This one here. Sure thing. Alright. So now we're at a critical juncture. Because I need to not only kill this Ninetales this turn, but I need to set up another one for next turn. So, I'm going to Ultra Space to grab that Blacephalon.
And energy also seems quite important here.
Hey, listen, that's the least of my worries.
Ideally, that is true.
Because 15 energy, you'd think that I'd get there.
I'd be surprised if you didn't have 6 already.
Now, I've got an interesting choice, but I think the easy choice to make is Hala. Nice Hala for 7.
This is a big turn, so drawing 7 cards sounds like a good idea.
So I could potentially see 14 here to hit B-strings, which is what I'm looking to do.
Yeah. That's probably what you need to close out the game.
Yeah, if I hit multiple B-strings, like let's say, if I hit 3 B-string, I'll probably win.
Honestly, I think 1 would be enough.
1, you reckon? Only 1? I feel
two seems safe, but 1 I think you could work with.
I feel I could work with 1. I feel like I definitely need to, but hey, we'll see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hala coming in clutch again, and we've got 1, 2 B-string.
That'll probably do it.
So 1, 2 here, and then 1, 2 there. Okay. Now, here's another interesting position to be in.
Yeah.
Kind of afraid of that Ninetales on the bench as well. So I'm just trying to decide what I do with what I've got here. Ultimately, I'm gonna do another charge up, aren't I? So I should do that. In fact, if I have a second one, I will do that as well, but I don't. Okay, so I need to burn 3 energy here.
Yeah.
Have I had a manual attachment yet?
Let's see. The Beast Energy was already there, I believe. The Naganadels both had one on them already. And the rest came from Beast Ring, so I don't think so.
Okay, no worries. Well, I'm going to go like that, and that actually makes it a lot easier, because I'm just going to burn 1, 2, 3, 150, plus the Beast is 180, which is enough.
It is indeed.
And I feel like that's a way that I close out the game.
I think you're correct. I'm thinking now if there's... what my win conditions are. I can't use Ninetales, obviously. I guess the only thing I can think of is knocking... I know you've got energy on active, so even if I knock you out with Gardevoir, you could use Naganadel to get to 5 energy and kill me.
Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable at the moment, especially since I still have... well, the cards in my hand, obviously, I know what they are, but I've got plenty of stuff to do next turn, even if you do take the knockout. And if you do take the knockout, then I'm just going to blow up with 5 anyway, so...
Yeah, I'm actually just trying to think if there's even a way to kill you if you don't have any cards in your hand and survive. But even with 0 cards in hand, I think you've pretty much got the game wrapped up. But I'll bring up Gardevoir.
Yep.
And draw for turn.
I guess again your win con is hope that I don't have Guzma.
Yeah, and I mean this time I actually don't have the Guzma to stall you, I don't think.
To do that, yeah.
I think I can get it. I will Ultra Space just to confirm. Let's have a look what's in here. Alright. So I can do that. I think that's realistically the only thing I can do. So I'm going to Ultra Ball, discarding Ralts and Choice Band.
Yep.
I'm going to Wonder Tag for a Guzma.
Yep.
My beautiful 3 Lele's all on the bench. Certainly pulling their weight.
Oh yeah. They're great attackers, Lele.
Yeah.
So useful.
It's not bad actually, but certainly not what I want my bench to be filled with right now.
It's not optimal with this list.
So, it didn't work last time, but I'm going to Guzma out the Zebstrika.
No worries.
Bringing up Ninetales. Going to attach to Ninetales,
yep.
And do 70 to the active and 30 to the Blacephalon once again, the same one.
No worries. Well, once again, Jordan, the Guzma's in hand.
That's probably going to do it.
So that would do it.
That
Taking
seems good.
out one of those Lele's seems pretty good to me. Now, one of the good things about the list that I played with today, I think, that Zebstrika, even though I only used it a couple of times, in fact, I think I only used it once, really. But
it always meant that there was no way for me to kind of crawl back into the game because you were always going to draw what you needed when you needed to.
Well, and that turn when I had to beast string, I just happened upon the beast strings that turn. But if I hadn't have got them, then I just sprint for more cards, and hopefully they're there. So rather than seeing 7 with the Hala, which is also another really good inclusion, it gives me an extra 4, so 13 cards. Can't say no to that.
Yeah, I definitely felt like I was really relying on you just to have a chance at that game, and Zebstrika basically meant that was never going to happen.
That's potentially true. Now, it could just be, obviously, the Gardevoir list that we've tried to build it as consistently as we could, but one of the problems with Gardevoir at the moment is it's probably just not good enough. Like, 30 times the energy was really, really good back in the day when you had Pokemon that were attacking for 180 off, or 120 or 30 off of 3 energy on a GX or an EX. But now it's not as good.
Yeah, I definitely think I agree. I mean, there were a lot of cool plays that could have, if I'd hit them, that I would have made that game a lot closer, possibly even been enough. But it doesn't have enough. It doesn't have enough reward. Like I'm trying to pull off these insane combos just to do what other decks do normally.
Yeah, so definitely worth having a look at, but probably not something that we'd take to a tournament, and probably not something that we'll see on the channel for a while. But still, worth considering going forward. Anyway, thanks Jordan for that one.
No problem.
Always a pleasure to beat you.
Enjoy it while you can.
I feel good about myself because it never happens in tournaments. Anyway, thanks everyone for coming along. If you haven't already, don't forget to give the video a like. Have a bit of a subscribe if you want to see more. And we'll see you next time for more from the Sableyes. Thanks very much. See you next time. Bye.